the making of the wide glide film.
Wide glide film.
So pretty much the idea of this film was to make Sam and the bike look as cool as possible and as cinematic as possible. And I used some tricks that I had already been using in some of my other films. It's pretty easy to make something look cool with some slow motion, some music, but you know, you can't keep repeating yourself. You have to come up with new ideas.
Yeah, so we're gonna be using the big, I call it the big camera, plus the stabilizer, so you get ultra smooth footage. And it's got a great microphone. It's got the furry thing so that the wind doesn't really kill it too much. They call it a dead cat. That's
Looks like a dead cat.
Dead cat, yeah. I don't know. But it helps with the wind a little bit. If it's really windy, there's nothing you can do. But pretty much we're just gonna be getting a bunch of B-roll on the wide glide, and then we're gonna be doing some moving shots with Sam doing various kinds of roll-ons and start-offs and revving. Maybe we can entice him to do a burnout. So we'll see.
Brand new tires, boy.
Brand new tires. All the more reason.
Yo, is the thing on?
Yeah, it shuts off.
Oh, the screen shuts off. Okay.
Consumption, yeah. We're getting the drone together. We'll do some follow shots where I'll mount the GoPro on the front of my bike and we'll just follow you. You know, just riding, and we'll have the microphone on your bike. So there's like a trick you can do where you get in front of the camera and you're near the microphone and you clap 3 times.
So you can sync it.
You sync it up. Yeah. This is the drone we're gonna be using. Sam's bike, I think we're gonna use it for B-roll, like moving because it's super smooth. And then we're gonna set this up over the bridge. This bridge I really like to film over. Just because it's picturesque, you got the water, and it's cool, especially now, like the sun's starting to go down a little bit. Should be some cool lighting. Plus Sam's wearing some pretty bright colors, so it'll stand out. Just hoping that traffic isn't a big deal. Yeah, so I just went in the weeds for like 2 minutes just to get some B-roll on Sam's bike. Pulled 4 ticks off me in like 5 seconds.
Big ones.
Big fuckers too. The size of like medium-sized spiders.
I offered to let me check his asshole, but he didn't want to.
Yeah, Sam was willing to do an asshole check.
See I go ahead and tell me something real. Come on out your field. And I suppose
The zoomed in shots are just better, you know? Like a good zoom in shot. You'd be surprised how many times in the movies, that it's actually a zoomed in shot. The camera's not like right here. But zooming in changes the perspective. It like changes the field of view, and it just creates this new feel to it. The further you are away, the more stuff is in the air, acting as like filters. And it creates this like, it's like a haze. Like a haze, yeah. And it looks cool, it's like very in right now. We just did the zoomed in Sam coming in on a turn, like first, second, third. It was first, second, third, or just
First, second, third. When I hit second, dude, it like almost knocked me off.
So we're just gonna review the footage right now.
I've always been wanting to do more zoomed in shots, so I thought it would be really cool if we had Sam turn the corner and hammer down with this far away zoomed in shot freehand, which would gives it a different feel than if the camera was on a tripod. At first it went well, and then the gimbal sort of shifted a little bit to the left, which I thought pretty much ruined the shot. It shifted to the left, but Sam still remained in the shot. And at first I was so devastated because, you know, to do another take is a real pain, and you know, you're dealing with a machine here that you're just beating on. So you want to get everything done in as few takes as possible. The camera shifts to the left. I think it's ruined, but I stick with it, and I managed to keep him in the frame without touching the zoom. for as long as possible until basically he passed me, and then the camera gets sort of lost in the weeds as he passed, which I thought was a good way to segue to the next scene. The next shot is Sam zoomed in shot from across the street, starting the bike and revving it immediately to blow the weeds, just to, you know, give it this kind of cool looking shot. The exhaust blowing the weeds, it gives it this power feel to it. And then we moved into the burnout shot, which Sam nailed it first shot, no problem. He's pretty good with that bike. It turned out to be a good shot. I ran it at, I think, about 1/3 regular time, so like 0.3 out of 1, and it was just a great shot.
Burn some rubber though. Yeah. And plus, I could do that in slow-mo.
A couple of shots, you know, of him going past me on the bike, and we tried to use the audio as much as possible. Even though the audio was going to be pretty low, it was just going to be a little background filler on top of the music. And then this shot was actually the same shot as the beginning, only just with another camera. Like I mentioned, you want to use as many cameras as possible to capture, you know, every angle that you can. And so we put the camera on the ground leaning against a rock. You can even see it in the shot with the big camera. If you look closely right here, it's sitting on the ground, and it gives it, they did it in Charlie's Angels with the Ferrari scene down the tunnel. A low angle shot is always good, especially with a wide angle lens. It makes it seem like it's happening really, really fast. So that was a cool shot, and we got great audio from that because it gave us a chance to have a microphone halfway down, you know, the runway. And then the final shot was with the drone. We did a sequence of drone shots on the bridge, and this one particular shot, I knew he was going to come up behind me, so I had it pretty low. It's kind of tough to tell, especially when the drone is going like 35 miles an hour and all these things are happening. I had no idea if anybody was behind Sam, so I couldn't get it too low. Just in case there was like an 18-wheeler there, it would have just completely taken out my drone, or I would have damaged somebody's vehicle. So I got it as low as possible as Sam passed me, and then I followed him. And then the reason that I went up was actually for two reasons. One, I lost actually a connection with the drone, so I had no visual whatsoever. It has something to do with the bridge and how much metal is on the bridge. It interferes with the connection with the drone. It happens often when I'm shooting near huge structures of metal. So I went up from there, and also I would have had to go up anyway because there are power lines that run across the road, so I didn't want to risk running the drone into it. So the drone went up a couple 100 feet, and it turned out to be a great shot and a good way to end the intro, just with this, you know, Sam's coming out of the frame, and now there's this nice scenery. It also gives it a good contrast, so I can put you know, labeling and such for the film.
I was obsessed with the shadows. My desires were all I knew. It was all I knew.
As far as all the talking scenes, that was actually just one long scene that we did. We set the big camera up on a rock on the gimbal, and we had it slightly zoomed in, shooting in 4K. That way I can have the option of zooming in editing, rather than having somebody to man the camera, which would have required a third person, and we shot the whole thing. It was just him and I. So that was fine. The only problem was audio, because the camera was so far away, it would have picked up really crappy audio. So we had an external microphone, the same one that we put on Sam's bike. We put that actually on inside the helmet, right in front of the bike as we were talking. You could see the helmet right there. There's a microphone in there. that's picking up all our audio. I could have done better. I should have had the microphone a little bit closer just to pick up more bass out of our voices, and I wouldn't have to have really boosted the audio in, post filming, because I thought the audio was a little bit weak, but it's a learning experience. Now I know. And then we cut to the 1 week ago footage that was from we were going up to Rob's bachelor party, and we just happened to capture some footage. It was actually the first time we went on a motorcycle trip with Sam's new bike. So that was good. That was a nice little kind of break it up sort of thing. And we got about 20 minutes of footage as far as Sam and I talking about his bike, but some of it I couldn't use, or it just wasn't, it would have just went on too long. We'll definitely make more films on it later on, just on specific bits of it. And then I wanted to finalize the video with basically just like the best shots that we got, the roll-ons, the heavy acceleration, that intro shot, which, the intro shot was meant to just be cool as a montage. So I used a few shots again as the end without music, that way you can get really what it was, rather than this like really spiced up version without like all the picture filters and all that stuff. So it was a little bit more real. And then that's it. We finished the film there with that Atreyu song, Becoming the Bull, which is that fantastic song as an ending. It just gives it like this happy feel. It ends on a good vibe. The intro song, not the Bram part, that's what they call it. That was actually just taken from a bunch of YouTube audio clips that are free to be used. But the intro song was actually by this band called Islander, who my girlfriend and I just saw up at the Chance, and they had this nasty song. I thought, wow, this would be a great song to put in. But it had to be completely altered. I think it came out good, and it gives it enough time to get this full intro montage, squared away, and it gave it that cool feel. And then I used my Moto Films, V8, passing by at like 1,000,000 miles an hour sound, just to cap it all off. And that was that. And I think it was one of the best films I ever made. And I was really surprised at how little time it took to actually film it. Sam and I were together, actually involved with filming it for maybe 2 hours. We came up with a lot of the ideas right on the spot. Some of the ideas I came up with once I sat down on the computer and started editing it. But the editing alone took somewhere around 12 to 14 hours to finally finish it. Which is, pretty much normal. That's actually more or less on the lighter end. A lot of the big films that I do, especially if they're longer films with heavy editing, can take well over 20 hours. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I was really excited about this, and it was actually Sam's idea to do a making of film on top of the film. So, enjoy. Any questions or anything, just or even comments, as long as they're positive in nature. I'm willing to accept any kind of comment.
I was born